Breathe slowly. Nothing is collapsing, despite all outward appearances to the contrary. Something extraordinary, improbable, and incandescent is silently moving toward you, much like a tide you cannot visually perceive but feel lapping at your feet. This movement is not driven by force, coercion, or desperation, but rather by internal alignment, by resonance, by what Florence Scovel Shinn termed the law of perfect return, where the right word, spoken with spiritual conviction, paves pathways that previously seemed non-existent. If you sense a subtle calling within your heart, a feeling that there is a larger space for you to occupy in life, stay with me. There is an illuminated thread running through this message, and when you connect with this thread, something that seemed blocked, distant, or unattainable will effortlessly begin to reorganize in your favor, like pieces finally finding their proper fit. Before we proceed, graciously accept this invitation. Allow yourself to be entirely present. Do not listen merely with your ears, but with your whole being, as if every word were massaging your history, clearing away ancient dust, and unveiling paths already prepared. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the spoken word is not merely sound, but a creative command, a decree that instructs the unseen to materialize into the visible. When you speak with spiritual authority, the universe responds with surgical precision. It is not childish magic. It is a profound law governing manifestation. Close your eyes for an instant and recognize, what you term impossible is not a wall. It is a disguised portal. You may have looked upon it through the lens of fear and perceived stone, burden, and resistance. But when you observe it through the focus of faith, it reveals itself as a passage, an invitation, a prepared road. Life invariably responds to the dominant frequency of your consciousness. If your internal voice repeats, "It cannot be done," life confirms this. If your voice declares, "I receive," it confirms that also. It is simultaneously simple and profound. There resides within you an old repetitive voice that learned to survive by asserting, "It is too late. No one will remember me. I was not meant for this." This voice carries memories and habits, yet it does not carry truth. There is also a second voice, quieter yet more potent, the voice of the Spirit, the one that affirms, "That which belongs to me by divine right is already drawing near." Today we elect this voice. Today, your speech ceases to be a timid request and becomes complete authorization. Florence Scovel Shinn asserted that when the individual accepts their word as law, the universe bends to comply. Gently lay your hand upon the center of your chest. This is not about engaging in an empty ritual, but rather reminding your physical self that it is integral to this transformation. The body serves as the altar upon which your convictions materialize. Where tension resides, an idea is beckoning replacement. Where contraction occurs, an outdated narrative persists. And the law of substitution is straightforward. What you habitually repeat, you effectively enthrone. Today we dethrone fear and enthrone serene certainty. What seemed like delay was, in reality, preparation. Nothing is working against you. Everything is aligning. Now, visualize a large door of light-colored wood, adorned with golden detailing, situated at the core of your inner dwelling. Before it rest three instruments: the spoken word, gentle focus, and conscious permission. The word unlocks the door. The focus maintains the stability of the passage. Permission allows the blessing to flow through unimpeded. When these three dispositions work in concert, what once seemed inaccessible becomes inevitable. For an instant, repeat mentally, with profound gentleness, "I align myself with the good." Feel the gravitas of this statement. It is not a wish. It is a declaration of stance. Then, append, "I authorize unexpected pathways." This authorization releases routes that were previously blocked by excessive control. Florence Scovel Shinn observed that attempting to control everything is akin to clenching a bird tightly. You suffocate its flight. Allowing is the act of opening the hand and trusting the movement of life. Perhaps you are thinking, "But I have tried everything." Trying, often, amounts to pushing against walls. Decreeing, conversely, is the act of naming doors. When you speak with tranquil authority, people recall you, opportunities materialize, and solutions emerge where previously there was only void. This happens not because some external factor changed haphazardly, but because you have shifted the emission point of your energy. Now, direct your attention to the nape of your neck, then to your chest, then to your abdomen. Release. Unclench your jaw. The body comprehends. Internally affirm, I concur with my own path. This internal assent is potent. Life does not contend with those who are fragmented. It responds to those who are whole. Envision a point of golden light above your head, like a silent sun. A strand of this light descends to touch your chest. At its touch, fear loses its dominion. Repeat with focused intention, I revoke the habit of scarcity. I install divine confidence. I receive the extraordinary. Do this not as one who merely requests, but as one who signs a legitimate document. Florence Scovel Shinn referred to this as a spiritual decree, an injunction that reorders circumstances. There is a subtle secret. Life is literal with those who are literal with it. If you declare, it yields. If you claim, it materializes. Therefore, every word you release is an instruction. Now, identify an automatic negative phrase within yourself. Do not wrestle with it. Merely observe. Imagine it is an old piece of paper discovered in your pocket. Read it, then release it. It is not truth. It is merely habit. Replace it with presence. I authorize passage. I am supplied with perfection. Feel where this new affirmation settles in your body. Breathe into that spot. When the breath arrives, the old belief dissolves. Allow me to offer you a transformative inquiry. Instead of asking, why is this not materializing? Pose the question, what within me is already prepared to receive it? This specific query illuminates internal pathways. Where there is light, there is unimpeded access. Now, mentally formulate a concise, potent affirmation. It could be, the improbable aligns with and assists me. Recite it to yourself. Notice the resulting internal shift. Inhale deeply. Something has already been set in motion. There comes a juncture in the journey where one feels as if they are traversing quicksand, making minimal headway, incurring significant exhaustion, and observing virtually no tangible outcomes. This sensation is not indicative of failure. Rather, it signifies a profound transition. Florence Scovel Shinn asserted that the precise moment when everything appears stagnant is when the invisible mechanisms are aligning themselves with the greatest intensity. What often registers as silence is, in fact, meticulous preparation. Life initially operates behind the scenes, orchestrating the alignment of individuals, timing, trajectories, and opportunities, ensuring that the ensuing movement manifests with precision. When you persist in interpreting this hiatus as abandonment, you inadvertently interrupt the process that was already well underway. Conversely, when you construe it as gestation, you actively fortify the flow. Recognize this vital distinction. Every worry that surfaces within you is misdirected energy. It is not a sign of weakness. It is misaligned power. The mind begins to conjure negative imagery, the breath becomes shallow, the body tenses, and you experience a sense of losing control. Yet, control has never been the optimal path. Control is akin to attempting to contain the ocean with a sieve. Guidance, however, is permitting the current to carry you toward the appropriate destination. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that fear is inverted faith. It is the intense belief in the worst possible scenario. When you pivot the direction of that intensity, you gain access to an enormous reserve of power. Let us engage in a brief exercise of internal reorientation. First, acknowledge a current concern. Keep it succinct and direct, without embellishment. Do not conceal it. Naming it is bringing it into the light. Next, observe where this concern is anchored in your physical form. Perhaps in the solar plexus, the throat, or the chest. Simply register its location. Subsequently, take a gentle breath. Inhale minimally, hold for an instant, then exhale at length. Visualize that each exhalation is opening a window. Now, calmly state this declaration. I restore my power to the core of my faith. I receive unambiguous direction. Sense the resulting effect. Perhaps a lightness, a warmth, a sigh of release. It is the body consenting to a new mandate. When the physical self consents, the external world begins its reorganization. This is not empty metaphor. It is a practical perception. You have likely experienced moments when, upon relaxing your grip, a solution materialized, a simple idea emerged, or an unforeseen invitation arrived. This is not mere coincidence. It is energetic coherence. When you release the urgency, you create bandwidth for answers. When you tighten your grip, you close off pathways. Florence Scovel Shinn stated that man cannot receive with closed hands, and anxiety is simply the clenched fist attempting to grasp everything simultaneously. Now, bring to mind something you profoundly desire to see resolved. Rather than dwelling on chaos, visualize the completed scene. The account settled, the affirmative message arriving, the unlikely yes. This is not escapist fantasy. It is vibrational rehearsal. Life responds more favorably to clear rehearsals than to recurrent anxieties. When you rehearse the good, you calibrate your frequency. When you rehearse fear, you enthrone obstacles. Mentally repeat, as if installing a new program, I do not pursue. I call forth by name. I authorize the perfect timing. This stance is transformational. Proceeding as one whose request has already been granted expedites the journey. Life rushes to confirm that which you assume with unwavering conviction. There is a profound revelation here. Worry does not vanish through force. It dissolves through direction. When you furnish your energy with a destination, it organizes itself. And when it is organized, it paves the way forward. Pause for a moment and observe whether a small idea has just surfaced, however simple. Tidying something, sending a message, settling a minor detail. This may well be a signal. Life rarely shouts. It whispers. And now, permit this message to function as a living field. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that collective agreement fosters multiplication. When multiple individuals affirm the good simultaneously, the resulting effect is amplified. I therefore extend an invitation, but one that deviates from the norm. If this message is resonating deeply within you, if you perceive that quiet, internal yes, subscribe to the channel immediately. Do so not merely as a click, but as a spiritual declaration to the universe. I abide within the flow. This uncomplicated act maintains your connection to subsequent activations and signals both the algorithm and the unseen. Here resides an individual committed to growth, transformation, and the manifestation of well-being. And I have a special request. Leave a comment formulating a phrase that originates from your heart, rather than simply reiterating existing words. It could be a concise affirmation, such as, I make space for the new, or I am receiving clear direction. Crucially, write it in a way that truly embodies your personal truth. This comment transcends mere engagement. It serves as a vibrational registration. Florence Scovel Shinn asserted that the written word anchors the authorization within the field. When you commit it to writing, you seal the motion. Furthermore, articulate something pertinent to the theme, something you genuinely embody. I am not seeking the perfunctory, automated interactions common everywhere. I want you to participate wholeheartedly, with soul. Write something that, upon later reflection, makes you think, this sentence truly represents me. This fosters a field of authenticity and connection, transforming a mere community into a venue for collective manifestation. If you are already a subscriber, place your hand over your heart for a moment and affirm internally, I continue. This maintains the active thread. Should you feel inclined to share this video with a cherished individual, do so with loving intention. When you share, you expand the field, and that which you expand returns to you multiplied. Before we proceed, observe one final element. Perhaps you sensed a palpable shift within you, a distinct silence, as though something has finally locked into position. This signals that the seemingly impossible has begun to manifest in tangible ways. Maintain this internal equilibrium. The momentum is already building. There is an inner terrain where many individuals inadvertently falter, the pervasive feeling of guilt. I speak not of superficial regret, but the insidious, silent guilt that lurks behind affirmations such as, "I ought to have acted differently," "I squandered my time," "I sabotaged opportunities," or "I am undeserving of receiving now." This specific variety of guilt operates as a powerful emotional anchor. Even as you endeavor to move forward, an unseen force drags you into retreat. Florence Scovel Shinn posited that guilt establishes a hidden decree of unworthiness, and life, in its inherent responsiveness, adheres to this mandate by obstructing doors that were on the verge of opening. This occurs not because life seeks to inflict retribution, but because it mirrors the vibrational frequency of your own consciousness. Reflect candidly. How often have you refrained from soliciting assistance, declining an offer, or saying yes to a crucial opportunity because you felt you were not entitled to it? How frequently have you believed you needed to atone for past missteps before allowing yourself to receive anything positive? This cycle generates an emotional labyrinth. Yet, there exists a straightforward, potent egress: internal restitution. When you acknowledge a mistake, assimilate its lesson, and choose to proceed with spiritual dignity, guilt loses its hold. Florence Scovel Shinn maintained that error is merely a misinterpreted lesson. When properly interpreted, it transmutes into profound wisdom. Initiate a deliberate action now. Call to mind a scenario that habitually provokes feelings of guilt within you. Do not retreat. Observe the scene as if you were an external, non-judgmental spectator. Now revoke the automatic sentence, "I do not deserve this." Internally declare, "I have learned and grown through this experience." Feel the intrinsic power of that declaration. It does not negate the past event, but fundamentally alters its purpose. What was once a burden is transformed into bedrock. Place your hand over your heart and execute a small internal gesture. Grant yourself forgiveness. Not the mere rational acknowledgement, but the type of pardon that affirms, "My inherent worth remains intact." Florence Scovel Shinn detailed that forgiveness is an essential tool for spiritual liberation, as it cleanses the lens through which you perceive life. When that lens is obscured by guilt, opportunities remain unseen. When the lens is clear, you instantly recognize doors that have been present all along. Now, visualize a golden seal descending upon the center of your chest. This seal embodies restitution. State quietly aloud, or mentally with calm conviction, "I release the burden that no longer belongs to me." Take a deep breath. Perhaps you will experience a relaxation in your shoulders, an involuntary sigh. This signifies energy resuming its proper circulation. Where energy flows unimpeded, prosperity inevitably finds its way. And recognize something pivotal. Consequences do not vanish simply by being ignored, but they realign when consciousness shifts. When you act from a more integrated and serene place, your attitudes naturally correct what requires rectification. You begin making clearer decisions, fulfilling commitments with greater ease, and mending what is possible with respect. Minor gestures possess enormous spiritual power. Florence Scovel Shinn stated that the invisible responds far more readily to coherence than to grandiosity. Now, observe another subtle pitfall: comparison. It enters like a discreet shadow. You see someone achieve something, make progress, show results, and an inner voice whispers, "I'm lagging behind, I'm not good enough, I'm not recognized." This voice is also ancient, learned, and repeated, but it does not reflect the truth. Comparison robs you of your vibrational signature. It compels you to try to be an echo when you were born to be a voice. When you attempt to reach another person's level, you abandon your inherent pace and deplete your energy. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that every individual possesses a unique, divine pattern, a specific way of expressing good. When you honor this pattern, you become magnetic. What rightfully belongs to you naturally gravitates toward you. When you relinquish your identity to try and fit into external molds, the proper doors cease to recognize your name. Therefore, make a move towards self-reconciliation now. Bring to mind someone with whom you habitually compare yourself. Thank them internally, because that comparison reveals a quality you aspire to express. But remember, what you admire in others is a signal of what already exists within you in a seed state. Declare gently, That quality also resides within me, in my own distinct way. Feel how this statement restores autonomy to your spirit. Now, identify a quality of your own that you have been neglecting. It might be creativity, discipline, kindness, courage, humor, or resilience. Say internally, "This quality is my path." It does not need to be perfect, it needs to be true. Choose a simple gesture to express this quality today. Write a message, organize something, make a decision, care for someone else, or care for yourself. Identity becomes established when it transforms into action. Repeat slowly, "I vibrate my truth and attract what belongs to me." Notice the internal shift. Perhaps your shoulders straighten, perhaps warmth rises to your face. This is presence. It is your signature returning to its place of authority. And now we arrive at a significant point: the fear of scarcity. It manifests as fleeting thoughts, images of mounting bills, approaching deadlines, and opportunities slipping away. The body stiffens, the breath shortens, and the mind attempts to resolve everything simultaneously. This is the attempt to control the flow. But Florence Scovel Shinn taught that money does not respond to desperation. It responds to clarity and respect. Money represents the circulation of value. When you treat it as an adversary, it retreats. When you embrace it as an ally, it becomes cooperative. The language you employ regarding money determines its dwelling place. Therefore, place your hand over your heart and affirm gently, "I respect money, and it collaborates with me." Sense how profoundly this affirmation shifts your internal atmosphere. Money is not a judge. It is a courier. It transmits and receives energy, calibrated precisely by the tone of your voice. Now, select a minor act of deliberate circulation. This might involve settling a delayed payment, meticulously organizing your wallet, donating a useful item, or formalizing a document. The spiritual domain favors harmonious order. By bringing structure, you signal unequivocally to the universe your readiness to accommodate greater abundance. Repeat slowly, "I summon provision through alignment. The appropriate worth flows to me." This level of specificity unlocks precise pathways. When your intent is unambiguous, life reciprocates with exactitude. Take a deep breath. Note any simple insight that may have surfaced. Often, the solution is merely a minor step away. A phone call, an email, or a dialogue. When the burden of guilt dissipates and authentic identity is reclaimed, the flow is immediately unhindered. If you are currently sensing this transformation, this profound internal restructuring, internalize this sensation. It serves as tangible evidence of progress. There exists a spiritual axiom that few fully grasp. Your internal assumptions establish the standard by which life registers and responds to you externally. Florence Scovel Shinn posited that the universe is not actuated by frantic effort, but rather by one's internal bearing. When you proceed with the conviction that your request has already been granted, opportunities manifest. When you move as one awaiting authorization, doors remain sealed. This occurs not because the world is inherently inequitable, but because your vibrational frequency transmits silent directives. Life registers your disposition long before it acknowledges your verbal statements. Reflect on your demeanor over recent days. Have you operated from a place of seeking selection, or from the intrinsic awareness that you embody profound value? Frequently, individuals approach potential opportunities laden with anxiety, seemingly apologizing for their very existence. This subtle energetic signature transmits the message to the field, "I am unworthy." And life, in its compliance, validates this exact narrative. When you pivot your internal stance to an affirmation such as, "I honor my authentic self," not characterized by arrogance, but by inherent dignity, the universal response transforms entirely. The world acknowledges those who first acknowledge themselves. Florence Scovel Shinn maintained that spiritual identity serves as a vibrational address. If you are disconnected from your core self, opportunities lack the coordinates necessary to locate you. When you fully occupy your rightful place, when you own your inherent attributes, and when you honor your unique cadence, invitations begin to emerge organically. This is not mere happenstance. It is energetic coherence. Engage in a simple yet powerful exercise now. Imagine yourself entering an environment populated by individuals pivotal to your future life. Observe what your natural posture would be. Would you be hunched over, attempting to be inconspicuous? Or would your chest be open, breathing calmly, knowing you have something valuable to contribute? Now mentally adjust your internal posture. Straighten your spine, relax your expression, and feel as though you are occupying your space with composure. This simple visualization already begins to realign your energy field. Repeat internally, I recognize my worth and allow myself to be recognized. Feel the difference. This is not about showing off, it is about allowing the world to witness your light, unburdened by the filters of insecurity. There is another essential aspect to this journey: pace. Many believe they must constantly accelerate to achieve results. However, Florence Scovel Shinn asserted that natural rhythm is a divine tool. When you attempt to rush beyond your flow, you forfeit precision and dissipate energy. When you honor your inner tempo, efficiency increases. What appeared to be sluggishness is revealed as consistency, and consistency is a potent magnet. Have you ever noticed that some individuals seem to achieve things effortlessly? It is not because they work harder, but because they work in alignment. They do not push against doors, they simply walk toward the right ones. When you release the need to prove something and begin to act with serene confidence, your pace becomes an advantage. You expend less energy and yield greater results. Repeat slowly. I advance with precision. Feel this phrase settle into your body. Precision is born of tranquility. Urgency stems from fear. When you change the fuel, you change the destination. Now let us delve into a transformative truth: the fear of scarcity. This fear manifests in various domains: relationships, finances, opportunities, time. The mind constructs scenarios of loss, and the body reacts with tension. But Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the sensation of lack is an illusion constructed through repetition. When you believe in scarcity, you reproduce it. When you believe in abundance, you manifest it. Abundance does not commence when you receive something external. It begins when you recognize internal worth and allow it to circulate. Value that fails to circulate stagnates. And everything that stagnates sickens, locks up, and becomes burdensome. This is why movement is so crucial. Not chaotic movement, but conscious movement. Today, choose a gesture that represents circulation. Organizing a space, sending a message that may open doors, contributing to someone else, or finalizing an outstanding task. This physical gesture signals to the universe that you are ready for the flow. Florence Scovel Shinn stated that the spiritual realm responds to simple, coherent actions, because they demonstrate active faith. Repeat mentally, I allow life to flow through me. Feel the lightness this phrase imparts. When you allow life to flow, solutions emerge. When you attempt to control everything, blockages arise. There is also a profound issue related to intrinsic deservingness. Many individuals desire prosperity, yet harbor a hidden belief that they are fundamentally unworthy. Perhaps due to past mistakes, constant comparison, received criticism, or entrenched familial narratives. This conviction establishes an invisible ceiling. Whenever something positive approaches, the individual sabotages, avoids, postpones, forgets, or cancels it. Not out of malice, but because their subconscious mind believes it lacks the necessary permission. Today, grant yourself permission to receive, not merely to wish for it. Receiving demands courage. Receiving requires openness. Florence Scovel Shinn stated that one must be as prepared to receive as one is to ask. Therefore, declare internally, I allow myself to receive the good that is already mine. Feel this affirmation penetrate you like a soothing balm. It dismantles silent resistances. Now, imagine a golden door before you, opening gently. Behind it lie opportunities, connections, insights, prosperity, and emotional well-being. Envision yourself stepping through this door with a resolute stride. Not rushing, not hesitating, simply advancing with unwavering confidence. This establishes a new narrative. There is a rare key that can fundamentally transform your relationship with life, walking as one whose request has already been granted. If the answer you seek were already en route, what would your demeanor be now? Would you breathe more calmly? Would you sleep more soundly? Would you speak with greater assurance? Then begin to operate in that manner. This posture generates a magnetic field so potent that the invisible hastens to manifest visibly. Florence Scovel Shinn asserted that faith is the substance of things hoped for, not a vague wish, but a vibrant certainty. When you vibrate certainty, the universe reorganizes circumstances to affirm that resonance. Repeat with full presence. I trust in the perfect timing. Feel this statement settle deep within you. Perfect timing does not imply delay. It signifies alignment. What arrives at the opportune moment endures. Now, allow for an instant of internal silence. Notice your breath. Recognize that you are already different than you were at the start of this message. There is more space within you. There is more light. There is greater confidence. This is not mere imagination. It is genuine movement. If any small idea has surfaced, an urge to act, a tranquil impulse, make a note of it later. Ideas germinating in this state carry the seeds of transformation. There is a decisive juncture in internal transformation where life begins to respond tangibly, not through dramatic eruptions, but through subtle signs that coalesce like the pieces of a mosaic finally coming into form. Florence Scovel Shinn posited that the impossible is not an obstacle. It is a direction, and when one internalizes this truth, both corporeally and verbally, their surrounding field shifts. Perhaps you have already experienced this, a helpful recollection that surfaces unbidden, an opportunity that resurfaces, someone reaching out after a long hiatus, a simple solution that was previously obscured from view. These minor movements are not mere coincidences. They are confirmation. They represent the materialization of that which you have spiritually sanctioned. This brings us to an imperative concept: direction without apprehension. Many people believe that to manifest something, they must perpetually dwell upon it, meticulously planning and controlling every facet, as if creation were solely contingent upon their efforts. Yet, Florence Scovel Shinn taught that anxiety constitutes a contradictory request. When desire is coupled with fear, the intention loses its fidelity. The universe receives mixed signals. Consequently, there is immense power in relinquishing the urgency. When you assume a posture of calm assurance, life organizes itself with greater expedition. Engage now in a silent exercise. Bring to mind something you deeply wish to see resolved or actualized. Do this not with desperation, but with gentle affection. Observe your body's reaction. If tension arises, soften your breath. Inhale briefly, exhale expansively. Now declare mentally, I act at the opportune moment, with the correct insight. This assertion removes the burden of haste and restores authority to your spirit. When action stems from a tranquil space, it is more efficacious. When it stems from fear, it becomes scattered. Another fundamental element on this journey is the discerning capacity to interpret signs. Many people petition for answers but fail to recognize them upon arrival. Life rarely responds with a neon sign. It responds through intuitions, encounters, significant coincidences, unexpected shifts in mood, and spontaneous invitations. Florence Scovel Shinn maintained that the answer usually arrives via a natural pathway, which is why so many people overlook it. The extraordinary often wears common attire. Therefore, be mindful of minor internal inclinations. That sudden urge to organize something, to dispatch a message, to seek out information, to rest, or to alter a routine. These impulses may seem innocuous, but they are guided movements. Repeat internally with serenity, I recognize the signs of the good. When you affirm this, you train your perception to perceive open doors where you previously only saw impediments. We now turn our attention to another crucial element: coherent action. Internal decrees are insufficient. Life necessitates tangible gestures. Not monumental achievements, but rather small, sustained movements. Florence Scovel Shinn posited that one demonstrates faith through one's disposition. When your actions are congruent with that which you aspire to receive, you forge a bridge between the unseen and the manifest. If you seek prosperity, tend diligently to what you already possess. If you crave opportunities, ensure you are fully primed for them. If you desire healthy relationships, treat yourself with reverence. Every single action is transformed into a seed. Now select one minor action you can execute today. An action that symbolizes the future you wish to inhabit. This might be decluttering a space, replying to a crucial message, finalizing a pending task, addressing something you have been procrastinating, or resting with deliberate intention. This single gesture communicates to the universe, I am prepared. And now, we arrive at the most profound juncture of this process, allowing the good to endure. Many individuals successfully attain something beneficial, yet they quickly lose it, sabotage it, or let it dissipate, driven by an unconscious belief that they lack the capacity to sustain it. The mind manufactures rationalizations. This is excessive for me. It is ephemeral. I am ill-equipped to manage this. Florence Scovel Shinn asserted that the challenge lies not in receiving the miracle, but in retaining the miracle. This necessitates an identity firmly rooted in deservingness. Therefore, declare with gentle resolve, I sustain the good that flows into my life. Internalize this statement as a bedrock foundation. It precludes the old narrative from reasserting control. When you perceive yourself as capable of stewarding what you receive, life confers greater opportunities upon you. The universal field recognizes the existing infrastructure. Now, visualize a table before you. Upon it rest the three elements we have amassed throughout this journey: authorization, guidance, and endurance. Mentally touch each one. I authorize, I receive guidance, I sustain. This culminates in a complete cycle. The flow is now established. Inhale deeply. Notice the internal stillness that is beginning to coalesce. This silence is not a vacuum. It is reorganization. It is akin to internal cogs shifting their alignment to accommodate the subsequent echelon of your experience. Florence Scovel Shinn stated that, when the spirit registers, the facts adjust. And this transformation commences the moment you shift your internal disposition. Now, I wish to address those of you who have remained present throughout this session. This space is not merely a video or a transitory internet message. It is a vibrant field. Every individual who genuinely connects fortifies this domain. And in a manner distinct from anything you have encountered previously, I extend a sincere and heartfelt invitation. If this content resonated deeply, if you experienced an internal shift, if clarity emerged, or if you sensed an alteration in your energy, I urge you to subscribe to the channel. View this not as a mere automatic click, but as an affirmation of affiliation. As one who proclaims, I journey alongside this community. And I genuinely want to hear from you. Share your story in the comments. What resonated, how you felt, what shifts occurred, and the core lessons derived from this message. Recount a moment when something improbable unfolded in your life, or detail an unexpected insight that surfaced while you were listening. Your participation is more than mere personal expression. It serves to inspire others, forge genuine connection, and cultivate a community where collective growth is paramount. As Florence Scovel Shinn asserted, agreement multiplies the good, and your act of sharing initiates that very concord. If this resonated with you, document it. If something deeply moved you, articulate it. If clarity dawned, make a note of it. My intention is for this space to become a sanctuary where individuals find recognition and offer mutual spiritual sustenance. And before we conclude, place your hand upon your heart and declare with absolute conviction, I accept the extraordinary in my life. Allow this declaration to permeate your entire being. It serves to seal and solidify everything we have co-created here. Affectionately, I extend one final, heartfelt invitation. Subscribe, remain connected, and continue on this journey alongside us. There remains much more to unlock, activate, and manifest collectively. Your presence holds significant weight here. And I celebrate that you have persevered until the very conclusion.